Welcome to the Bald Ambition Podcast. I'm your still very bald host, Mookie Spitz, and the ones with a whole lot of ambition today are Rob and Jane from Ping.
Hey, how's it going? Yep. We got the hair too, so we can balance out. Yeah, in aggregate.
An immediate advantage. I'm already jelly. And I love your concept you guys describe for automating, using AI, using robotics, ostensibly the barista experience.
Yeah, it's a fully automated drive-through experience. And this whole thing started about 3 years ago. I had 3 teenage daughters in high school at the same time. They made me go through a bunch of drive-throughs, and I have like Joe Pesci level luck in the drive-through. It's pretty horrible. And one day I was whinging about having to wait 20 minutes for something that will probably come out wrong. And Jane said, between the two of us, you have all the robotics and technical experience, and Jane, she has all the customer experience background. Like, we could totally fix this. And we started looking at it. Turns out it's a huge opportunity. So we're doing it.
And you've got a location up and running already. So you guys aren't just concept. This isn't smoke and mirrors. You guys are in operation. Can you tell us the user experience? You got an app, they order, people roll up in their car, they get their drink. Turn us on to it.
That's pretty much it. We tried to create the least, the most seamless experience that you could have. Like, we want you to wake up, feel it like needing your caffeine fix, and this is like the best way to do. You feel like feeling victorious. So yes, you order on our app, then you just show up on our site. We detect who you are, so you don't have to talk to anyone if you don't want to. You don't have to scan a QR code. You just roll up to the window, and the window will present your drinks at exactly the right height. We have like a vision system that'll measure the height of your car window, so you can just like easily grab it, whether you're in a big pickup truck or in your low sports car. We've never had one drink spilled as a result. And we really tried to use robotics and AI to complete an experience that is less than 1 minute. So you're on site, hopefully less than 1 minute.
As a country, we're ahead of the game in so many ways and in ways behind. And one way we're behind is in vending machines. Like, I grew up with those vending machines. You put the quarters in and then you pull the thing and then you get candy or cigarettes. Yeah. And meanwhile, a lot of the world has really advanced. Like, Japan comes to mind, and they have automated stores pretty much, and supermarkets. There's other startups like Burger, where they're bringing some of that dynamic AI-driven, robotically integrated customer service to bear. And you guys are cutting the swath, from what I can tell, in a unique way that it cuts into, and as you point out, augments the Starbucks experience. So can you share how it's similar and how it's different? Jane, you just mentioned one big benefit. You don't have to talk to anyone. It's expeditious. You don't have to go stand in line at Starbucks, deal with the crowds. And it's all, to your point, Rob, like In-N-Out Burger here in California. You could just roll in and get your stuff. How are you guys changing the game?
Yeah, so today, basically, like if you went to a Starbucks or Dunkin' and you order on a mobile app, well, you basically have to time it to whenever they get the drink ready, right? They'll give you an ETA. With our system, you can just like come whenever you want. So we've had customers who ordered the day before, and then they show up and their drink is made super fresh for them, because we don't make your drink until you enter our geofence. We've had moms want to like drop off their kids, come get something, or run errands first, come get something. So it's really up to you when you want to get it. We're using technology to create that customer experience that is completely catered to you. And our whole mission is speed and convenience. Like Starbucks today, they're going back to that whole third place, sit down. They're redoing their stores. They got rid of their express to go stores. So we are looking at a different customer segment that they're not addressing today. And it's a big segment.
Starbucks has always been that in-between place. That's how they started. Like, on my way to work, I can chill for a little bit. And then it created a whole ambiance, and it's a physical lived experience of in between commuting and getting where you need to go. So it's kind of like a little safe place. But you're highlighting a different customer segment, which is immediacy, personalization, hyper convenience with all the AI goodies plugged into it. So you describe analyzing how tall your car is. So presumably when you get served, it's accurate. You mentioned geofencing. So it'll know where you are and activate when you're nearby. So that's an added ordering convenience. And what about the drinks themselves? I'm assuming it's automated inside the little box. There are no gnomes in there or
no, it's pure magic.
Creatures.
If you ever saw Star Trek, it's just like that. It just magically appears, real gray hot. That's all you have to say. No, it's inside. So our pod is about as efficient as we can make it. And so we made it out of a shipping container, and it's a giant refrigerator. And so inside there are these two robot work cells, one behind each window, making the drinks. And it looks like a giant 3D printer for drinks, rail mounted systems, moving the cup around underneath a bunch of dispensers. It all happens, pretty quickly between, 30 and 60 seconds. We can make a drink and we put it out into the window. And our goal is to make that just before you get there. So it's nice and fresh, kind of perfectly timed, and you can adjust the drink to whatever you want. Eventually, there's a ton of cool things that we can do. Like right now, we're working on the basics of the experience, but eventually, now you can take AI and dial the whole menu to your sweetness level. You could, tell it a few things that you like, and it can create new drinks for you. Using, just 10 different ingredients in varying amounts that have never been used before. Or the other fun part is we're putting labels on the side of the cup. Now we can do an AI generated label based off of a couple of prompts, to make it really personalized for you.
It sounds super fun, and it sounds wired into somebody's lifestyle. So some people might push back and say, hey, I got a Keurig at home, right? And in your office, especially corporate situations, they have those bigger kind of automated machines, right? To make espresso, latte, Americano. And then you go through the menu manually and it pumps it out for you. But it seems like your focus is very experiential too. So you got the soccer mom driving, you got people commuting. They don't want to wait and have that in-between experience at Starbucks. So you have a nice niche target, which is people who are on the fly in their cars and want a quick drive-through experience with a nice, fresh, customized cup of coffee with extra kudos for your little label and with preventative maintenance so it knows how to serve you and it doesn't mess up your brew. Does that sound about right? That's what you guys are going for.
That's right. And we want to deliver high quality drinks too. We know that people think automation leads to poor quality drinks, right? Like you mentioned the Keurig, for instance. And we know that taste is completely subjective. So we're not out here telling anyone that like the Keurig isn't great, but like we went out there and we sourced the best quality ingredients that we could find to do this as well. And not only are we serving up like traditional coffee shop favorites like your lattes, things like that, we have energy drinks, teas, lemonades. Like we have a whole category for the family. So you can't necessarily get that up at Keurig, right? So like it's all about personalization and feeling really appreciated and valued as a customer. Like everything around the experience is tailored to you.
And it sounds like you guys are scaling up too. So now you have a basic menu, you've got one location, and crawl, walk, run, I'm assuming is a sound business model.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what's the current menu like? I'm an espresso guy. When I go to Starbucks, I always do the triple iced espresso in a grande cup with a splash of skim milk. That's how I roll. That's my thing. I know others like their Americano, they like their mochas, they like their flavored drinks, and Starbucks has done a pretty good job at matching menu item with audience expectation without it turning into a supply chain disaster, right? You gotta balance feasibility with inventory, with supply chain and customer interest. So how'd you guys get that golden mean out of the gate? And what can customers expect now and as your kiosk experience evolves?
Yeah, you could do a lot with just a few ingredients. Like putting together coffee shop drinks is sort of like Mexican food. Like it's all kind of the same ingredients and you just like different formats. So that's kind of what we're
Modular and scalable.
exactly. So
Mhm.
if we have lemonade, it can be lemonade with like tea, but we can also put lemonade in our energy drinks, which is somehow like how people like it. Now we could also use the same syrups and energy drinks as well as your lemonades as well as your teas. So there's a lot of like cross like capabilities there that we so that it can like enhance and make our menu uh like more attractive to more people. So we really are trying to maximize the ingredients that we can, that we have in there.
You mentioned that they're top quality, so you're differentiating from just the R2D2s that people have in their homes, which is cool. And let me bring up some potential concerns that folks obviously do that you guys can address off the top. The first one is what happens with no people around? What if the cup's upside down or it spills or it's the wrong drink? What do you do? What's the backup since customer service has to be so indirect?
Yeah, we found that, well, we've done tons of customer testing, by the way, like tons. We talk to our customers every single time. So we do plan to have a site host, and that they'll be there during peak hours because you do need someone to, direct people who haven't downloaded the app yet to a specific spot on our site. And then for people who have already downloaded, you usher them through the line quickly. But, just like answering pretty typical questions and figuring out any queuing issues, things like that. So we will have during peak hours a site host. And we found that even though people are oriented to the speed and convenience, like that's why they came, sometimes just like a quick, like human touch, like they really like that. Just this hello. They love it when you remember things about them. And we can do that too with AI. But having a human presence is, of course, still very necessary and something we will need. But we don't need as many people. We just need that person to be like a rock star.
Yeah, and then we can operate overnight, and we have a big friendly help button basically by each window, and also through the app. If you drive away,
Don't panic, but
exactly. Answer is 42.
Yeah. And just make sure that we have as many channels as possible for customer service, right? Today, I get texts, I get phone calls. We just make sure that in the app, people really understand how they can reach out to us immediately so that we can fix any problems before they leave the site. We have like 2 customer service like parking spots so that if they aren't happy with something, they can park. We can take care of it right away before they leave. So we just want to make sure that customer service, that we're both very accessible and that the service is really good.
AI and robotics is a double-edged sword. So people love them when it benefits them, and then they freak out when they sense disruption, uncertainty, and even a threat to their pocketbooks and even jobs. You guys did a great job delineating your positioning as being distinct from Starbucks, let's say. It's not the in between spot. People who would normally not go to Starbucks anyway would think of doing a ping stop because it's a different kind of market experience. It's a different kind of segment. But I'm sure some people are expressing concerns that you're taking away barista jobs. The Starbucks union just had a huge situation. They had strikes of employees. They feel their jobs are threatened, their benefits, their pay. And now you guys are introducing an AI robotic, I'm doing air quotes if you're on audio, replacement for the barista. Can you address some of those concerns and calm people down and show how you're not eating other people's lunch with your startup?
Yeah, I think it's a really fair question. And I think that there will always be a need for baristas. Absolutely. Like there are always people who want to go to their neighborhood coffee shop or they want to sit down and work or talk or catch up with a friend. That's why we're always going to need baristas. So we don't think that it's necessarily like we're taking away the jobs. They still exist. Baristas today are also really stressed because they're metriced on the drive-through time, right? And so all they do today is they make drinks as fast as they can and get it out, and they have less time to focus on the customer service aspect, which is actually what they're really good at. So this will help alleviate some of that as well. And last of all, like I just think that we don't have as many baristas on site, but we still will have site hosts. We will have technicians that come to the pod and service the pod, resupply the pod. There'll be a lot of like supply chain and logistics behind all of that. So we still will need to hire a lot of people and really creative people to fill in for stuff. So I think that it's not necessarily taking away jobs, it's just creating a whole subset that supports the robotics and what we have going on.
And on top of that, our original business case was to address the 30% of line bulk, meaning the customers that wanted an order, saw the long line, and went without. They left, because they just couldn't wait in that line, right? So we're really trying to service the people that aren't being serviced right now. Again. But the other really cool part about this, and it's my kind of personal passion, because I like that our site can actually be created and put into operation for under 200K of opening pre-opening costs. And so if you compare that to a Dunkin's, you need at least $1 million liquid in the bank. You have to be rich to franchise a Dunkin's. Whereas we're going to be able to offer like an affordable franchise option for other people like us that have some money, just a lot of motivation. And now instead of having a job in a shop, you could own it. Right. And you could start with one pod and you could grow and grow and grow. So I feel like this is like the perfect example of robotics creating opportunities, serving us in a way that will allow people to grow. Right. Not only, professionally, but, financially. And I just think that's super exciting. I think this is exactly what robots should be used for serving us, for being helpful in that way and letting humans do what humans are good at. This talking, the site host piece where they're interacting with other people, that sort of thing. I think that's exactly how automation should be used.
I think back to when I got my MBA in 2009, and being a social media manager was not a thing. I'm of course dating myself, but like it wasn't a thing. Like nobody. But now there's a giant ecosystem of social media managers and directors, influencers, right? Like that did not exist before, and I think that is going to be true for robotics. Like we're just going to have a whole new ecosystem that people can participate in.
I totally agree. There's tons of disruption, and disruption freaks everyone out. But with every technological quantum leap or milestone, there's a realignment of human capital. And that's happening in AI now. And you guys illustrate the key benefits. So number one is a almost strategic shift. If the lines are shorter at Starbucks, or it's not as crowded because you're taking off the extra burn on that, baristas will have more time to relate and do the barista thing, which is what customers want, is not just a cup of coffee, but a human experience. Mm-hmm. And that's endemic for a lot of AI. In the corporate world, AI is now enabling people to do less grunt work and concentrate on more customer-facing work, maybe think more strategically. Mm-hmm. Then you have the business angle. You're going to be hiring a bunch of people, but in different roles. So you're not hiring baristas, but you're hiring supply people, people maintaining and servicing the pods, and even potentially marketing people, because you have a burgeoning franchise business. And that enters the other benefit I heard, which is this is a viable business opportunity to entrepreneurs who might not have $1 million to slam down for a Dunkin' Donuts, let alone a Starbucks, if they even could, but own their own business for 1/5 the capital expense. And you guys are built to scale. So it's lock and load, right? Like Mookie the podcaster. All right. I'm going to roll my 401k into Ping.
Hey, that sounds great.
So you guys sold me already. It's basically an opportunity to grow with you and then participate in that kind of growth. And the growth is kind of automated like your business model. It's plug and play. It works here, it'll work here, and then you build up brand reputation and you do the franchising thing.
Yes. I couldn't put it better. That was actually a great summation of what we said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. On podcasts, it's good because people are now cooking and they're driving and they don't always hear everything. So I try to I'm like the road runner with the little sign, meep, meep.
Yeah. Turn ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look
Nice.
under the hood now. You guys sold me on it. I'm converting my retirement into my first ping. As far as consumers go, it sounds like a really viable thing. I'm sure most people listening and watching would be like, that would be awesome if I had a ping like a mile away as an alternative to pit stopping at Starbucks or cranking out my Keurig at home. It's a nice kind of middle solution to that. Rob, how did you think of this idea? How'd you partner with Jane? You've got that AI expertise, and Jane, you've got your customer service expertise. So how did peanut butter and chocolate come together to make Reese's in this idea?
Well, Rob and I actually met working together on the same product development team at Shark Ninja. We were on the Ninja brand making kitchen appliances. We had a small but like mighty team. Just really enjoyed it. It was super fast paced, super entrepreneurial. Rob set the tone. He's a people leader, so the culture of our little team was great. We just really enjoyed working together, so we knew that we could. So I think that's what really drove us. And then there's the part of it where he's the technical founder, and he has all this amazing experience from iRobot, Amazon Robotics, BAE, like just a ton of experience. And then for me, I'm voice of customer, I'm brand marketing, product marketing. We worked on product development together. I'm also, as you said, customer service as part of the customer experience. I used to be an analyst leading a team of customer experience analysts. And so I lend a very different perspective than Rob, and we're like the yin and yang of our company. So I think it's a good matchup. We really do need more of the customer voice whenever we're developing anything for customers.
It's funny. I brag to other robotics founders that, I have a Jane and they don't, because, I think it's really easy for roboticists to get super obsessed with the technology and get a little bit lost on what they should be making, right? They don't have that direct line to the customer. And so with Jane, she doesn't care how hard it is for us to do technically. She just knows like what she wants, like the customer to have access to, and she's gonna put her foot down until we figure out how to make it happen. And she knows how to prioritize without getting obsessed about some cool new robot or like lasers. Like that's the kind of stuff we do all the time. And Jane, kind of reels us back in. So yeah, it's a great partnership, and it allows us to move quickly. I think we also have this somewhat unfair advantage to other robotics companies because we're using our own robots. We're not trying to make a robot for somebody else to try to figure out how to use, and we're not trying to match their requirements. We're actually the users, right? So we're developing systems that we can make all of these trade-offs almost in real time in a lot of ways. So it just gives us a ton of flexibility in terms of what we're able to offer and how quickly we can do that.
I was going to ask you, it's not like you guys plug in Amazon robots from the warehouse and instead of moving stuff around and from bin 86C to 2912, it's they're making coffee. But you guys have designed and developed the ping. What do you call them? A ping pod, a ping kiosk?
Ping pod, yeah. Yep, it's a ping pod with two podlets inside. Yep.
A ping pod with two podlets inside. Say that 3 times really fast, and you get your own franchise. So you guys have engineered it and built it up from scratch, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I mean, what we didn't want to do is what a lot of so there's other automated coffee out there. So sort of my pet peeve of automation is when somebody pulls a human out of a process, drops a 6 degree of freedom manipulator, a big robot arm that's super expensive in there with 2 fingers, and says, "Oh, yay, I've automated it." It's usually not the right answer at all, right? It's usually the right answer is usually taking a process, pulling it apart completely, and then putting it back together in a more efficient way. And so that's what we've done with our pod. And we've also had an eye for scalability and manufacturing. This thing was basically made to go in a contract manufacturer. So that's the nice thing, having scaled a bunch of programs and things like Amazon. I've seen things operate at scale because once the robotics becomes boring, it's a logistics and operations problem that you have to solve. And so that's where I get to really leverage my background at Amazon.
And what you mentioned is interesting. There's often this conflict between the engineers, the technical people, and then the front end customer service. So to your point, customers don't really care about what's going on inside. They just want that ideal customer service experience. If you go to a movie and your mind is blown by the CGX, they don't care how those things were programmed. They don't care about the work that went into it. They just want to be wowed. And a disconnect that often happens is the engineers get all obsessed with the details, and the customer service people don't understand how it works. And it seems like you two have a good conversation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it just helps so much to actually see in real time your product being used, your robot or whatever piece being used, and get direct customer. Like, I'm talking directly to the customer. I'm the site host right now, right? So I get to see what is happening on the other end, and it drives everything we do. Like the customer feedback and the way all of that works is just it's right there in front of us, and we just have to solve the problems that we see. We get to do an after action review after every test and just go through and are like, oh, this dashboard didn't work quite the way we want, so let's do this and then a couple days later we have our new dashboard, and so yeah, there's a lot that we can do in very real time, right?
Take us through that experience. So I know you guys got an app. Obviously, you're app driven. You're a mobile app with a physical ping pod with 2 pods inside. Take us through that experience. So we're going to have links in the description below for your website for people to sign up. I'm assuming it looks like you guys are on the iPhone app. You're going to have the Android version soon.
We have
from
one.
You have it already?
Yep. It's out there.
Oh, okay. Yep. I was trying to do my homework and I'm behind the time. All right. So what happens here? They go to the App Store, download your stuff. They start ordering, and it's got to be, you have one location so far. So where is it, and how can people start pinging up?
It's in Hudson, New Hampshire, which is a pretty short drive from Mass up to Hudson. All you have to do, we have both the iOS, we have the Android. Just download the app, come by, or if you just want to come by when we're testing with customers, then we can help you with the download and take you through it. But it's really, really simple. You can save as many favorites as you like, and it's a 2-click reorder. So we have a lot of returning customers who do that. We made it simple because we once were trying to reorder something that Rob enjoyed, and it took 13 clicks on the Starbucks app. So how do we make this the easiest experience ever? So we think a lot about accessibility in our mobile app, since it is the digital touch point for our customers.
Cool. So I'm a soccer mom. I don't look like one, but let's just say I am. And then I got your app on my iPhone or Android. Got the little icon. I click on the ping. And then if I've ordered before, I'll have my favorite. And then I don't have to specify a time, it sounds like. You guys know when I'm around. That's super cool aspect of this. So I know that between 10 and noon, I'm going to be in need of caffeine. I'm not quite sure when, but if I do that setup, and presumably I can even order days in advance, right? You guys have a scheduler, and boom, it'll be ready. And then what exactly happens? You mentioned geofencing. So you come in and it recognizes when my car is near, and your robots start to do their thing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You share your location, and so when you start getting close, we see you on the geofence, so that's a GPS, and then we have some local sensors that help us figure out exactly where you are in terms of the sequence, with the other cars, whether or not 2 orders are in the same car. And so, once we have that all figured out, the robot makes your drink, serves it in the window, like Jane said. The AI figures out your window height, serves it at the right height. You just grab it and go. No scanning, no waiting, no tipping.
That is very cool. Now, this will bring up concern number 2. Concern number 1 was the disruption caused by AI. And you guys had 3 really good answers, including the franchise one, which was which was enticing. In this sense, we're talking about data privacy and security. So you guys know where I'm at because you got to know when I'm nearby to know the drink. And then there's all the signups and data. So for those types of concerns, what's your response?
Yeah, I mean, we are very, very aware of customer concern over data privacy. We do know when you enter a geofence and when you leave the geofence, and then when you're on site, but we don't store any of that data today. So we're not tracking anyone. We don't scrape your license plate. We don't take images of your face, for example. So we're very aware of that. In terms of the data, that's all stored in the cloud. We use Square as our POS. And so Square owns all of your information in terms of like the credit card and all the payment information. We don't own it. So all of that is secure. So yeah, we really try to make sure our customers feel that they can come without any like detriment to their own privacy.
Yeah, and so the nice thing about having worked at Amazon, other people from Amazon started, a software company that they wanted to help support startups. That's where we get our software, a lot of our software work from, and so they have a deep understanding, from Amazon, how to make sure we're able to protect, the customers' data on the app, how to, do all this in such a way that you're only getting tracked when you get close to the site and you have an active order. Nobody else can, come in and try to take that data or do anything with it. So, having all those protections in place and also making sure that the software you're loading onto your phone, that app itself is, in good shape, isn't going to have any malware or anything crazy like that. And then, also like just the way the app is structured to make sure, that, it's actually the one connecting to a beacon and then sending you the data. So all that app, work is just very much structured to protect the privacy of all of our customers. And it's kind of funny because Jane will only download an app when she absolutely has to. Otherwise, it goes on my phone, and even she's downloaded it. So that's going to say something, I think.
So if Jane considers your app safe, then go for it.
Yeah, she refuses to download apps, and so that's the mindset.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm a Luddite, but I do have an iPhone 10. That's an old phone.
I'm surprised they still even let you use it, and the battery isn't like at 12% all day long.
It is constantly, but
we use it for backward compatibility for our what about our older users? We use Jane's phone for that.
If they have to relaunch the space shuttle, they're gonna contact Jane to get her iPhone 10.
Yeah,
that's right.
You're giving us assurance that your AI and robotics aren't going to take over the world or take our jobs, and you're assuring us that the data is private. You're using proprietary, safe services, and also different folks are handling the data. So Square is responsible for your transactions. They've got their own security situation, and obviously your app is available through the iPhone store and the Android app marketplace. So right on. It's like you're at least as safe as the other apps that people are already using.
That's right.
So that's good assurance.
And it's pretty rigorous, right? I don't know if you've ever tried to get an app approved by, the App Store or Google, but it's tough. It's not easy. You have to go through like a series of, there's security requirements and, performance requirements, all sorts of things. So we often have to go through several cycles of making sure we've met every requirement before it's approved. Yeah.
And then you're not sleeping the night before, because if they reject you and you're not on the store, then where are they going to get you?
Yeah. Yep.
And how are you guys scaling up? So you got the one ping pod with the two pods in there. Are there going to be more ping pods with lots of pods all over the place? And what's the timing look like for your scale up?
Yeah, ping, 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 right? So right now we're working on making this thing run perfectly. And it's funny when you first envision something and exactly how it's going to work. It changes completely when you get on site and you start actually operating and you start serving customers. And you're like, oh, okay, I need to change that a little bit. And you find all these little corner cases like, I never thought to drive through this backwards, those sort of things. And so we're working through all of those improvements and bug fixes and that sort of thing. But we're raising a seed round pretty soon to go ahead and make all the improvements to the hardware design of the pod, because we built one, learned a ton of lessons, but we really want to make it much more manufacturable. We learned all the lessons on how to put this thing together and do it in a much more efficient way. So all that will get rolled in. We're going to build 3 more that the company runs ourselves. We're going to get our operational process down super smooth. And so, like I said, when the robotics become boring, then it's an operations problem, right? And logistics. And so we'll get that running smooth. We use the hub and spoke model. So we have one hub that's a commissary. That's where we do all of our cleaning and refilling of all our containers. And then, we bring them out to the pod, wipe down the pod and do all the replacements. One of the nice side benefits, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but we don't require water or sewer because we bring all of our own filtered water to the pod, and there's no waste because everything goes directly into the cup. So it's a very efficient system overall. But anyways, we're going to get all those processes down. And then after that, we plan to scale. Like, this thing is designed to go in a contract manufacturer. You can crank these things out in a factory. And then, we love the model of going out and allowing people to find the sites for us. So once we had the franchisees, coming to find stuff, and you'll do this. Like, now that you understand, like, oh, you could use this little parking lot for a pod, you're going to be like, ooh, I can put one there, I can put one there. You know your town, right? So you're going to find all these sites. You'll know if the town is, open to this sort of thing. That'll bring all the sites to us, and it'll give people, opportunities and a way for us to scale very, very quickly. So I think the next, 3 to 5 years is just super exciting in terms of like what we're going to be able to do and how quickly one of these will start showing up in your own neighborhood.
Well, it sounds scalable, and you beat me to the punch about investor capital. So I'm assuming your single location now is your beta test. So it's live, it's working, you're experimenting, you're tweaking. And then once you nail it down, then you're able to replicate and make it more official.
Exactly right.
And you are taking investor capital. So if you want, we can put that link in the
we'll see the link below.
See link below. So look at it as an opportunity to check it out at the location. Look at it as an opportunity to invest early, and then down the road, once things become operational, participate in a franchise partnership.
Absolutely.
Well, it's a great model, and it's a nice mid-range solution between the Starbucks, where you need to dedicate usually 15-20 minutes of your life, whether you settle down into it or not, and then rushing into the kitchen and popping out a Keurig or an analogous kind of little custom coffee experience. The next question is aspirational in the sense of what I was hinting at earlier with the Japanese self-serve stores and the super deluxe vending machines, because not only are you scalable in terms of these individual pod locations, but you can expand your menu and you can get into other stuff too. Is that kind of at the back of your mind? Or when you're designing these things, are you thinking about more than just coffee? I mean, really, the sky's the limit as we automate and integrate AI into so many aspects of our lives, especially food and drink service.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not just at the back of it. It's like swirling around inside, and we have like this incredible room, because right after we finish with drinks, we want to go to packaged snacks, convenience items. I've always been excited. I'm a foodie. I even had a food truck, and I've always thought that food and automation could come together in this like crazy cool way and create these new experiences for people. So, oh yeah, we have a ton of things that we want to do, a lot of things that we want to offer in the future in the very similar format, because we focused on making sure we have a great pickup experience. And so that is our number one focus here. You know, coffee and drinks, like they were fairly easy to automate. We thought people would understand, you know, ordering from an app and driving up to a pod and grabbing it more so than like a convenience store. So we thought that was the right place to start. But yeah, the sky's the limit. And the hardest thing for us is like picking what to do first. You know, it's like, okay, we got to focus. We got to get the basic thing down, and then we can do all of this, you know, cool, expansive stuff. Because, you know, it can go all the way from offerings there to like how you order. Like just, hey Siri, order my next ping, my favorite ping. Oh crap! I just set off Siri. But you know, order my favorite ping thing, and I'll stop at the next pod.
I mean, I think that yeah, from day one we've had this vision that we could take it further. We picked the drinks because it didn't require any change to customer behavior. But yeah, there's a long runway ahead of us, and we reimagined the whole experience of picking up a drink in your car. We were like, why wouldn't we reimagine everything else? So today, if you got like a breakfast sandwich, you're in the car, you picked it up, it's sort of like falling to pieces, like in your hands. It's very inconvenient, right? I've had that happen to me a lot. We're like, well, why does it have to be in that shape? Why does it need to be in that format? So this could be a way for automation to work that makes you a delicious breakfast sandwich in a way where it's not like disintegrating all over the place. So I think that for everything we're envisioning going on in the future, we can reimagine it, redefine what that experience is.
And tweak the end product itself as well as the customer experience. It's kind of cool. Every touch point in the transaction you can optimize, and you can integrate AI and robotics. So really the sky is the limit in terms of offering that kind of value. And an even bigger obstacle, I think, and you bring this up, Jane, and you hinted at this, Rob, too, is not only to get the tech right, but to get people accustomed to this huge change in their lifestyle. Like, look at the development of every digital application. Like, remember Friendster?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What happened to that, right? And everyone evolved into Facebook and Twitter, and the technology was already there. There was nothing revolutionary about it. It was just getting people to change their user behaviors, catch up to the technology. And your crawl, walk, run works good for your beta testing, but it also market conditions your audience to get used to the fact that AI-driven robots are going to prepare a drink, a meal, and provide products and services. That's a huge state change for people to get acclimated to.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time a customer comes through the first time, even their second or third time, they have their phone out, taking photos or video or sharing with somebody. They brought a friend, for example. But once you've gotten past that first or second experience, the next time it's like, if you know, you know. Like our customers come, we have customers that come almost every day. They hardly stop their car. They've got their arms like stretched out of their window, and they just like whiz by. Like they've already been conditioned to accept the new norm. Like this is their new norm. Right. It's like when Amazon launched Prime, everybody was getting their packages in weeks. And then Prime was like 2 days, and then everyone became used to it, and that just became the new norm. That's really exactly what we're seeing in our customers today.
It makes sense, and it's exciting.
Yep.
And to your point, the sky's the limit. It can be really, really transformative. So good luck to you guys. This is an exciting startup that is pushing the boundary not only for technology and the user experience, but our overall evolution into a situation where AI and robotics isn't the enemy, but they're heightening convenience. And they're shifting roles and responsibilities and jobs, even in the workforce, and not necessarily for the worse, but it could even be better. So you have people doing some of the menial stuff that can be doing other and better things. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, to your Prime example, I mean, toilet paper in 12 hours. Who would have thought? And they sell just about everything now. And we're used to it.
Yeah.
How did we ever live before Google Maps and Amazon Prime? And if you guys are lucky and successful, then how could we have ever lived without a nearby ping pod?
I like that.
Right?
I'm really hoping. Yes.
You guys are
Yeah.
great. Thank you for making time on the Bald Ambition podcast. Like, subscribe, share. And as we mentioned several times, please check out the links. Go to their website, check them out. They're already operational. They're also soon to be taking more investor capital if you liked what you heard. And be on the lookout when they go full franchise so you can get a piece of the action in a way that's much more economical than starting your own Dunkin' Donuts or coffee shop with all the overhead and capital and hassle. Just plug and play. And you're not even stealing the local water. Maybe a little juice, but that's nothing compared to the data center, which is across the street.
Yeah. We're very efficient. We have solar panels. It's okay.
Absolutely. Now, solar panels, and you got, hamsters and habit trails powering the robots.
Jane's out back on a treadmill.
Thanks so much, Rob and Jane. You guys are awesome. Best of luck to you with Ping.
Thanks, Mookie.
Thank you very much.